And I don't understand that because everything's fine. Try to reconnect. Okay. Okay. I'm actually having quite a bit of challenge on my YouTube, and I can't even tell you why because I haven't did anything and I'm at my house. So sorry, YouTube. I'm gonna have to do something really special for you guys, probably a little bit later on. But you see how things don't necessarily go the way you plan, but you still have to work through them. And isn't that the key when you're dealing with BS? Is that you have to sit and keep your calm and keep your cool to get to your point so that you can get past whatever it is that's bothering you? Well, as a spiritual life coach, not only do I teach other people how to do that and help them manifest what they're asking for, but I myself have to utilize the same techniques that I give my clients. And when I look at a chart, there's two things that stands out in a chart for me. Your Mercury, which is how you think, and then your moon, which is that deep part of you. Everybody knows where your sun sign is, right? Because you're born at a certain time. Like right now, we're in Libra time. But all the children that are being born right now under Libra also have these retrogrades with um, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn, and yeah, three are all retroing right now. I think we got four. Hold on. I have it in my notes. I have to write notes. I can't memorize everything. Yeah. Uranus is retrograding in Gemini. Neptune's retrograding in Aries. Pluto is retrograding in Aquarius. And Saturn is retrograding in Pisces. Now, Saturn in Pisces is getting my attention because that means we got to go back and discipline our dreams again. Right? We got to go over what it is that we said we wanted to do in this lifetime and then look at how we're actually doing it. Now, your moon, okay? The moon moves position every 2 days, every 2.5 days. It's ruled by the sun sign of Cancer, which is also our country here in the United States. And I got a couple of notes and a little bit about the astrology for our country here in the United States. That is why Cancers, the water sign, is considered kind of moody. Yeah, because they keep um, every 2 or 3 days, their moon's position can change. And if they're not in a good space, then, it could be kind of horrific. It can actually be kind of sad because when you don't have a good placement in your moon, you carry a certain weight of, I want depression can be considered because you're always looking at the negative. Like there's nothing positive ever going on. And then you affirm for it, right? You're always dark and nasty about yourself. I was complimenting a lady the other day in the store and I said what a pretty dress she had on. And she basically told me that, she, did not believe that she was that pretty and that she did not really care for my opinion. I found that to be silly as hell. I found her to be stupid because I was giving her a compliment, but she couldn't take it. So she had to rebuke it and not only rebuke it, but she had to say some mean shit on the way out. Not needed. Not needed. There's no reason for her to behave that way toward me or anybody else, yet she did. And that's what I'm saying about the moon, you guys. The moon plays such a big factor in your mentals that it's not even funny. And I'm going to break down how each element has a certain position in the moon and how that affects you on a day to day. Because knowing thyself can keep you from wrecking yourself. Believe it or not. Hey, Lost Love, thank you so much to the hearts. I appreciate it. I really do. So, for example, with all these retro going on right now, we have children being born during this retrograde because it does happen. Children, people still having unprotected sex. It's not against the law. And children's is being born. Regardless of whether or not they want to be, they're coming down the chutes. So here's the beautiful part. We have control over our physical being. Believe it or not, you control your physical being. Now, you may not like some of the things that you control about your physical being, but for example, how many of you guys know where your moon is in your chart? I'm asking, how many of you guys actually looked at your zodiac chart and look at where your moon is. Anybody? Chime in the no, don't know at all. Okay. All right. So a quick way for you to figure out your moon chart is to go online, put your birthday in, and put astrology behind it. Okay. And okay, Miss Lopez, I think I know where your moon is, but I'll tell you something in just a second. So when you put your birthday in and put astrology right after, it's going to pop up with some astrology information, and look for the day you were born chart. Just put day I was born chart, like astrology chart, put your birthday in, and it's going to pull up all this stuff. See, I love this because back in the day, I had to use an ephemeris, and it was a big ass book I had to carry around with me that had all of the zodiac signs for every single sign for the last 100 years. Yeah, it was manual. And I carried that book with me for years because I do charts and I have to look up the different angles of the charts in order for me to figure out what the person was going through. Anywho, you guys got it a lot easier now. You're here on the zodiac, you're here on the internet. Pull up your birthday, look at your actual day of birth, and see where your moon is. Okay. Now, your moon is your hidden personality. All right. It's the personality that only family and friends, people like that would actually see because you don't have people in your house all the time, right? You don't have people coming over to visit and hanging out with you all the time, right? So your moon is the hidden side of you, but it's very, very, very important because it determines how your ass sees things, how you look at things, how you take things in. All right. So when your moon is in a, let's just say, a fire sign, which is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Because remember, we have 12 signs, 10 planets, and one of those signs, which is Cancer, is ruled by the moon. So every 2 days, that's why people think Cancers are moody. They have to go through some energy shifts, and it gets to be like normal for them because they were born in that position. So they really don't have anything else, going on. So they get used to it. And I'll tell you about water moons in just a second. Well, let's go with the fire moon. Where fire is action, it's bold, it's really like head first. I mean, they are our warriors. Fire signs will initiate, they will not sit on the sidelines because they can't. And if you have a moon in Aries, then you're going to definitely be talking some smack. And if you have a moon in Leo, you're going to demand a certain amount of respect and attention. And if you have a moon in Sagittarius, you're a little belligerent. Yeah. Each one of the signs holds a special energy. I had to get some water. And that energy, you guys, affects and determines how you behave, how you act in public, how you present yourself. And it's not cultural. People like to think it's cultural. I have looked at charts for 20 years, and I can tell you right now, it doesn't matter if they are from Spain or Compton or Texas. The moon's situation, the positioning of that moon has the same effect. Now, it changes slightly when you look at the style, which is the house that the moon falls in. But that's advanced, and we'll talk about that at another time. All right. So if you have a fire moon, let's say Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, you need action. Okay. You're not the type of person just sits and sees what happens. No, your ass is initiating. You want to get out there. You want to make it happen. Aries moon, Leo moon, right? Yeah. That's a lot of fire. Yes, Miss Rebecca, that's a lot of fire, which explains a lot about yourself because you can't help it. You have to keep moving. You came down on this planet to initiate, to make things happen, to be a part of something. Okay. Now, with the fire moon, you have to make sure you're situating yourself with people who complement that fire, right? Because fire needs oxygen, it needs initiation, it needs support, it needs things to make it happen. So when you know that position of your moon, okay, and I can't tell you a house because I'd have to do your chart, you know that you're going to need a certain amount of fire. Now, I grew up with a lot of fire. My mom was an Aries. My mom was a Sag. My dad was a Leo, and my brother was an Aries. So I had the whole fire trilogy as a child, and I'm a water sign. I'm a water baby, okay? But they taught me to be who I am, all right? So that fire needs to initiate. Now we get into the air signs. When you have an air moon, Okay, that's Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. That's a whole nother thing because they're very intellectual. They need to talk it out. They want you to illustrate. They're the thinkers. Okay, they're the intellectual, stimulating folks, and their ideas can be brilliant. Okay, they rule communications. I mean, goodness gracious, don't we all need to communicate a little bit better? And the thing I like about air moons is that they usually can appear very calm because they're going to internalize. They're going to take everything in and dissect it and go, hmm, hmm. And it makes sense when you stop to think about it because air is all around us, but we can't see it. But that element affects us. Without air, we literally can't breathe. So, air moons, they literally need to be circulating. They're like social butterflies. Yeah, they just like to go places and be around people. They're not necessarily trying to start anything. They just want to be a part of it and enjoy the process. Okay? Then we have our earth moons. Now that's our Taurus, our Virgo, our Capricorn. And they rule the earth, just like it says, the physical earth. And those individuals need physical contact. Okay? My grandmother was a Taurus, and let's just say I didn't never go without kisses and hugs. Okay. And when I find somebody with that moon position, for example, a Taurus moon person, they usually like comfort. Their houses are usually very comfortable. Like you go in and you want to just sit and relax. And they usually always have something what people consider expensive and they consider needed. Because Taurus rules beauty and Taurus also rules money, the actual money. That's what Taurus rules. So when you have a moon in Taurus, you're going to like the finer things in life. Now, how you get them, that's determined by some other factors. But once you know your taste, know your style, then you know what you're bringing to the table. And that's a caliber that nobody can take away from you. All right. Don't forget to hit the likes. Give me some loves. Shows me some loves. I appreciate it, you guys. I really, really do. Then we go into water. Okay. Water is just like it sounds. That's Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. It literally is water. Okay. It's our emotions. It's how we carry ourselves. It's how we think things should be. Right. And our emotions are not always logical. Our emotions are based on our feelings. So even if you have proof that something's not working or something is not going to do what you want it to do, our emotional side will not let go of it. And we will still push that agenda, even though it is so moot because our emotions are running us. Well, water sign moons are very intuitive, like spooky intuitive. Okay. A Pisces moon can feel things without even talking. A Cancer moon can figure out exactly what you're going to say before you say it. And a Scorpio moon, oh, those individuals sit and wait for you to play it out. Yeah, they just sit and go, because they love the process of knowing with Scorpio moons. Because they're behind the scenes. They're always investigating. They're always looking for stuff. And I think that's why it's important for you to know thyself. And the beautiful part of astrology is it gives you insight that you may not have ever come across. You may not have thought of yourself that way. You just may not have considered it. At least that's what I've seen with a lot of my clients over the years. When you talk about manifesting, you got to know what your skill set is. You got to know what your strengths are. You got to know how people see you. All right? Because sometimes people may not see you the way you see yourself. Like you're thinking you're this badass, giving, beautiful person, and they're thinking you're kind of a putz and you're snobby and you like to show off. Two sides of the same coin, but two different versions. Is both of them right or both of them wrong? I mean, and that's the thing with manifesting. You're not going to have everybody cheering you on. Some people may not even care about what you're doing. I know. And that could be family or friends and people you consider close. Other people may seem detached, but are very interested in how things turn out for you. Mhm. Because they may have more emotional investment. So, what you want to do is you want to find out what your moon's placement is so you can take advantage of the way you internalize, the way you handle things, how you process things internally so that you can hit all the marks you need to hit. And how you do that is first of all, look at your chart, then study the sign that your moon falls in because it will give you a lot of insight. Now, I actually do charts, but I do the whole chart. with all the positionings so I can give you a synopsis of not only what's going on within you, but what's coming up. All right. So for giggles, I did the United States charts, 4th of July, 1776. Think you remember that? Now, America, of course, is a Cancer sun sign. So we're moody. Can't you see it? And also, Cancer rules the mother. So we're moody and we're motherly. It's like a mother that wants to, you know, smother you. Our moon is in Aquarius. Okay. The other thing about the Aquarius energy is it wants freedom. Okay. It likes the freedom to express. It's like the freedom to explore. I mean, I think we did a war on the whole thing with their tea. Well, that's the thing about mother. Mother may be trying to help you. That's that Cancer energy. But then when you have an Aquarius moon, which is what America has, we want our freedoms. All right. I won't get into the rising sign because that's a little bit advanced. But your rising sign is the image you put to the world. And that's how they see you when they first meet you. Yeah. Okay. So when I look at the United States and I look at our moon being in Aquarius, and right now with astrology having so many planets going backwards and Pluto being in Aquarius and Uranus being in Gemini, that says we have to communicate differently in how we want to express freedom. Now, the thing about the Aquarius energy is it will not stop. Aquariuses do not stop. Okay. Once they get something in their heads, it's guaranteed that they're going to continue till they manifest it. It's just their obsession. It's the way they're wired. All right. If they have a goal, aspiration, hopefully a good one, they will meet and exceed it. But if it's a bad one, it's some sad shit because then they're chasing the negativity. And how many of us have watched people that we love stay in situations that are bad for them? Okay. And I remember having cousins that were totally in love with people that I consider to be so beneath them, like not even close to the caliber of the level that she needed to be with, but she loved them. Well, later on, when I looked at her chart, she always loved the underdog because she had Aquarius moon. That makes sense because we want the person who needs the most help that probably is not handling it well or not doing very well to do better because we want everybody to do better in theory. In theory, as human beings, we do not want anybody to be left alone. In theory, reality, it comes into responsibilities, maturity, and understanding the circumstances that you're placing yourself in. So the moon affects you in huge ways on a regular basis, but we got to look at it as it changes. I look at the birth chart because that affects the individual. I look at the whole chart when I'm looking at, what's happening in the world right now. And we do have a lot of retrogrades going on. And I know I sound, like I'm talking a foreign language when I'm talking about the retrograde, but I have to tell you guys, it's real. I mean, the accuracy astrology brings is mind blowing. And I'm not even kidding. I have sit and looked at charts and been blown away by the information that's available. Now, you do have free will. So you can decide that you don't want to do something. Okay. So nothing is set in stone. The universe doesn't take away that. Negative energy takes away your choice because negative energy has a designated kind of end result that they're looking for. So they're not going to be as forthcoming about information, about insight, about support. That's not how negative energy works. Negative energy needs to keep you in fear, needs to keep you with anxiety. It needs to keep you questioning, even when good people are coming towards you with validation. And it's always amazing to me how people can quickly see when things are going wrong, like point out the negativity and just harp on it. But when something good happens, they poo-poo it. It's like it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. I have a friend right now that just had 2 surgeries done on her knee. And she always acts like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's a big deal to me because I've never known her to have these kind of things happen to her. And now she's in recovery. And I have to tell you, I'm still like going, wow. Because for somebody to cut you open, rip everything out, and put things back together inside of you and then stitch it up, that's a big deal to me. Maybe not to other people. They're, oh, it's so common. To who? To who? And this wasn't an easy decision that she came to, you guys. It took her quite a bit of time to find the right doctor and set herself up, and she's still in recovery. So I say this because we have free will. We have choice. But see, I'm going to say it. She has an Aquarius moon. So her detachedness is, oh, it's be fine. It's not no big deal. And she always tries to underwhelm what's happening. Like, just, oh, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal because I can feel it. I have a lot of water in my chart. Okay. So I can pick up on energies even when somebody is not saying it. All right. And that's the other thing. When you're getting involved in relationships, I always suggest you run a chart. And I suggest that because then you can see things that you wouldn't be able to see or understand until you're deeper in, right? When the person first meets you, no one says, I got mommy issues, I haven't got past my last relationship, and I'm still struggling psychologically. Do you want to date me? Anybody ever say that? Hell no. Because you'd run, if you were healthy, away from them as quickly as possible. Now, an individual who is trying to attain you, they're going to say that they're good, that everything's fine. They're going to put an emphasis on the positive aspect of their jobs and the things that they do and their hobbies. You know, they work their magic. And they're supposed to, guys. They're supposed to, don't you? I mean, you don't go outside, without brushing your teeth and combing your hair. Maybe put on some deodorant, clean clothes, not frumpy stuff with food all over it. Just saying. And you can see it. I can see when somebody has Venus somewhere in their moon because there's a certain beauty that comes with them. Because Venus is not an ugly sign. Even if you don't feel attractive, you will have an emphasis on your colors, your clothes, your style, something of that nature, because you know beauty's beauty. And it's the truth. We pay attention to beautiful things, even if we don't consciously want to say it. All right. And our bodies. The beautiful part when you know thyself, right, and you get more comfortable in this, you get a lot more centered. So you don't have to seek approval. Okay. You don't have to keep asking the same questions. Do you like me? Do I like you? Are we this? Are we that? Because your maturity will start kicking in and you start putting healthy boundaries around you. You just figure out, you know what? That's not working for me. And I don't think I want to do that. And you don't. How beautiful is that? For you to be able to have some healthy boundaries. And your moon tells you how those boundaries should be. When you have a fiery moon, you need action oriented people around you. I'm not going to go into the sun sign. Okay. But I do know uh, one of the people that's watching me on the YouTube is an earth sun sign, Taurus. But I've ran her chart. Her moon is in Leo. Now that's a square right there. That's where her challenge is. And trust me, guys, she is a feisty little thing. And she ain't that big. Maybe 120 pounds. Maybe. I'm talking wet. She's a tiny lady. But my goodness, the fire that runs through her, she will stand up to anybody. She will pick a fight. I mean, she picks fight with bigger people. I love her, but she got a little road rage sometimes. And, she's been known to follow somebody for a little bit. And she's gotten better because I told her, what you going to do when you get out of the car? I mean, because, like, you're going to them. She's like, yeah, but, she's a fighter. She's just a fighter. She's one of those people that didn't sit on the sidelines. She wants to get into the game. And looking at her, you would not see that. But getting close to her, you would notice that there's a little tinge in what she does. There's a little attitude in how she operates. Now, with the water sign moon, let's go like Scorpio. You got to be careful with them because they don't forget shit. Like if you do something to them once, it's like lodged in the back of their minds and they just wait. Just go, yeah, I'm going to see how that's going to work out. All right. And I'm not going to say they're vengeful to the point that they would do something to you because that depends on the person and choice. No one shoe fits the same shoe, fits the same foot. You know what I'm saying? But I do know that Scorpio being a fixed sign, because it's the only fixed water sign we have in the universe right now, they can not help you as much. They cannot be as supportive. They do things in an emotional way that really can mess their partner up because you come to rely on their energy, right? You come to rely on their flexibilities and their support because they can be the most loving people. Scorpio moons will make you feel like You are safe emotionally. You don't have anything to worry about. And then they pop. And you don't know sometimes when they're popping. If you're dealing with a mature Scorpio moon, they may be able to talk you through it and just say, hey, this is not working for me. I really wish you stop doing that. If you're dealing with one that's not as mature, let's just say on the lower side, their tongue is sharp. And if they do say something, take the note. Take the note. Now, while with my Earth, my Taurus, my Capricorn, and my Virgo moons, you'll just dissect the dickens out of you. They will literally break down every single thing that you said and why, and just not drive you crazy, because that's a choice to let somebody get under your skin, but they definitely, definitely, definitely will push your buttons. They can't help it, because when you have an earthy moon, you want the physical, you want the logical, you want things to make sense. You want that written out contract. You want that verbal and physical agreement. You want the product in your hand. You understand what I'm saying? So earth signs need that physical connection for them to thrive, because that's what they rule. They rule the earth. So why would they take anything less? Right? Well, a lot air signs, air moons, they need to discuss it. They want all the information. They want to lay everything out like a spreadsheet and then decipher. Now, it overlaps from time to time, you guys, because when you look at a whole chart, remember there's 10 planets, 12 signs. So the signs fall in the houses, and then the houses rotate around on a regular basis. It's quite fascinating. I mean, like, if you really just stopped and looked at it, it's like a dial that gives all information about what's going on. Now, of course, you have to decipher it, and that's where your friend here, spiritual coach Ari Mac, comes from, because deciphering requires somebody to, first of all, get your information and then break it down for you. Hmm. Yeah, because once you start understanding your internal dialogue, it's very hard to let outside BS drive you crazy. You just can't, because you know psychologically that's not good for me. I just don't work well with that. And knowing thyself, that's 100% of the challenge down here. Because once you know yourself, you know your parameters, you know how you handle things, you can't be played anymore. You're not interested in being taken advantage of. You don't have to look for so many people to validate who you are and what you're saying. You're 100% cool with where you are. And that's what the universe brings to you. But see, you have to look for the things that are working. And that's where your affirmations and the aromatherapy comes in, right? Because once you can figure out how energy works with you and how you respond, like I've been doing affirmation aromatherapy candles for over 20 years. Started my candle company in 99. And I have to tell you, we've helped hundreds of people, hundreds, if not thousands of people. Okay. Just finding their balance. I've seen people smell some of my candles, and let's just say the money candle, which is the green forest green candles, a lot of sandalwood. It's my own blend, but one of the main ingredients is sandalwood. Very sensual. Man came to my table at one of my shows and he said, I want money. Lots and lots of money. And I was like, well, I don't have it to give you, but I can help guide you into a way where you're at least more receptive to receiving it from expected and unexpected sources. He said, fine. He bought probably two of my biggest candles, the 16 ounce. And I said, just keep me posted. Well, he called me a couple of weeks later and he said, I'll be danged. And I said, what? He said, I actually got some unexpected benefits from one of his great aunties that had passed away. She was close to his mother. So she sent him like $15,000. She didn't die or anything. She just wanted to give away stuff while she could choose where it was going to go. And then his job opened up and gave him extra hours, which he needed. So literally, when he was saying he wanted money, and I suggested to him to use an affirmation along with the candle that I'd made, something inside of him clicked and he drew that to him, because that's how energy works. It's a magnet. It's a magnet. So if you are saying not so good things, and let's just say you are just putting out all kinds of boo boo, and you don't care because you don't care, you got to look at the circumference around you. Are you doing well with that? Is it hitting any of your goals? Like, do you feel like financially I'm being blessed by saying such negative, naughty things? And let me also say something to good people. We've been conditioned, especially women, I think, to try to always be the peacemaker, try to always make things right and, do the right thing and take care of. And sometimes you got to stop taking care of everybody else and take care of yourself. All right? Because without you, we got nothing. We got nothing. Okay? Once they drain the soul out of your being, what are you left with? Because I believe the soul is what inspires us. And what gives us courage. It's what encourages us to get up in the morning and make that one effort to do one more thing. And lo and behold, it works. Do you know the difference between a hero and a coward? It's only one difference. And I want you guys to think about it for a second and hit me up in the chat. Do you know the difference between a hero and a coward? Think about that. We'll come back to that in just a second. So when I look at America's chart, July 4th, 1776, we have a Sagittarius rising. I won't get into that right now. Sun sign in Cancer, making us very moody, but family oriented. Okay. And then we have your moon in Aquarius, which I want to say Uranus because that's the planet rules. Definitely wants our freedom, rebellious, unexpected. Um, you know, our country is one of those places that's going to ever ebb and flow change. And it ain't going to stop. See, that's the beautiful part. It's never going to stop. We stop. And then circumstances take us to wherever. But the universe never quits. They always have love for us. They always hear what we're saying. They even open up doors. They do. But you got to have the heart to walk through the door. And that's where guided astrology comes from. It's called The Gap. It's my own personal program. It's something I've been doing with my clients for decades. But now I put it into a program that you guys can actually have on a weekly basis that gives you a forecast of what's going on the planets, what's going on in the elements, and what's going on in your sign. And without having a chart is the closest thing to getting your daily forecast about you, though, on a spiritual level. Because everything I do is on an intuitive astrology level. So I'm not the traditional astrologers. I'm more of the spiritual astrologist. And the reason I say that is because I've seen what happens when people just get into the logic only, get into the air of everything, and this everything's a theory and it should work out and this and this. But I mean, spirit is in charge. All it takes is one or two little threads and everything can go to hell. And it wasn't even that hard. It was very effortless. Because we're not as hard ass as we think we are. If you cut me, I'll bleed. You pinch me, I hurt. You smack me, I'm gonna smack you back. Okay? Because I grew up with a brother. I'm not taking that from nobody. All right. But the point that I'm making is we have energy inside of ourselves. And once we understand how that energy works, we can max out our benefits and actually receive our blessings in a lovely way that we can understand. Because isn't that the whole thing is understanding? Do you understand you? Do I understand me? Who knows? The secret, though, is to never give up, to be open to the new opportunities, to look forward to having maybe somebody that's not your cup of tea challenge you. Because as long as you're respectful, diversity grows. It grows. But you have to be respectful. You have to be intuitive. You have to want to play the game because you're enjoying yourself. Some people play the game of life and they do not enjoy themselves. You can tell by their attitude, their energy, their interest, whoever they're talking to. And usually those are with some heavy aspects to their moon in their chart. I know Capricorn moon carries a lot of burden. They worry a lot, but they rule structure. So when they have a moon in Capricorn, and one of my dearest friends is in that position, she's one of the hardest working persons I know. Like literally, she does not stop. There's always something going on, even when she gets up in the morning. She has a book that she's reading or a webinar she's taking. I mean, she's always trying to improve herself to the point I think she makes herself crazy and overextends. All right. And that's a part of the universal flow. That's a part of the energy. We sometimes just have to figure out what that flow looks like and allow it to manifest within us. And that's the tough part, guys, because there's no gun, to your head, and there's no cheat sheet. Now, I can give you some notes. I can give you some daily, weekly notes that will definitely help you stay in the right direction. That's the GAP program. So look for that at candlesbyari.com, because the program is fantastic. And for what you get in the base program, you really get a chance to hear all of the little tidbits that I have going through my head and what I would say to my clients in private. You also get some affirmations. You also get some aromatherapy insight. Now we're going into the holiday season, and this holiday season, bum bum bum, at Candles by Ari, we're going to be doing orange, tangerine orange this month. I know it's Halloween, but it's also the Day of the Dead, so there's a lot going on over here. I got some save the dates too coming up, so don't let me forget. But bottom line, we got to get prepared. And one of the things I like to do is kind of judge it up a little bit. So for this month, for the candle of the month, we're going to be going with that tangerine. But guess what I put in? It's tangerine orange, but guess what I put in it? Oh, guess. Pumpkin spice. I went through some of my old scents that I had, and I found a brand new bottle of pumpkin spice that's like 4 or 5 years old, but it's sealed closed. I never opened it. So for a limited time, I'm going to offer pumpkin spice. Now, the thing about this pumpkin spice is it's very sharp. I mean, you feel like you're tasting a pumpkin, like one of those pumpkin drinks from Starbucks. And I'm very proud of this formula because it's not something I do often, but it's the holidays. And I said, what the fudge? Let's go for it. And we did. And it's chef's kiss. It is delicious. So I would definitely, oh, there you go. Definitely. If this was a drink, I'd drink it. If it was food, I would eat it. But look at that. Oh my goodness. Hold on a second. Just got me all excited. So, and the thing is with our candles, it also comes with an affirmation on the candle. And it actually has worked for many, many, many moons. Many, many moons. Because these affirmations I would give away to my clients, and I would see them come back with results. But like all things, they wanted more results and more results and more results, which I understand. But you got to take it one step at a time. And as you get into the rhythm of your life, the rhythm of your work, you find things a little bit less stressful. You don't get so frustrated at everything that's going on. You actually can put some things in perspective. And I call it white noise, where you have so many things in your background that are just buzzing. And sometimes you just need to like tune that out, which is where meditation comes from. Okay, you can do your prayers, put some music on, just find a way to get into the meditation of what it is I'm trying to allow in my life. Like this season, I'm reaching out to you guys hard because I got a new free program, and I'll have it for you next week or look for it in my future posts. But it's absolutely free, but you're going to have to get it when I drop it because I'm trying to make sure that you get a full synopsis of what's going on for the whole month. And if you like that, then you definitely going to dig the GAP program, the Guided Astrology program, because that all springboards you into being the best version of yourself. Okay. And like at the beginning of the hour, I can't even tell you how many technical difficulties I was having. I can't, but I kept going. I kept putting one foot in front of the other. Don't think I wasn't frustrated and a little irritated, but I said it, especially you guys here on the TikTok. You guys heard me, and I kept it moving. And that's what we do. That's what that energy shows us. So when you're affirming, and that's the other thing about the moon, it kind of helps you understand, it's not even kind of, it helps you understand how do you take information in? Like, how do you process? Like, for example, with the Leo moon that Mrs. Rebecca over here has, that moon denotes attention. I am here. I want to learn. Let's go. My sister has a Leo moon. And even when she was little, she was feisty. So that moon is not a moon that you can just take lightly. Remember, it's a fixed fire sign. It's the only fire sign that's fixed, and it rules the sun. Okay, so the ego, the pride, the image, it also rules children, is all caught up in Leo. And if you know anything about Leos, they're very prideful people of their family, of their friends, and just in general. My dad was a Leo, very prideful man. They will stick it out no matter what. They are the leaders of the whole zodiac scene. Not saying any other sign can't lead, but they kind of have that born in leadership quality. And they usually are go getters. They usually travel. They do move around a little bit just because they want to explore. And sometimes they go to different cities or countries because they want to be out in the world. They want to see for themselves what's happening. It's a beautiful thing when you have a Leo moon in a good placement. A bad placement is, for example, let's say a Mercury in Aquarius. That's, well, it's considered brilliant. That's not true. Actually, Mercury in Leo is probably considered hard. Not Mercury moon, but Mercury in the Mercury sign is how we communicate. In Leo is very dramatic. That position has to communicate everything. I think of them as divas, and I don't know the equivalent. What do you call a guy that's a diva? A prince? I don't know. Put it in the chat. What do you call a guy that's a diva? What's the opposite of the male diva? What's the opposite of the female diva? Excuse me. If you got that suggestion, please drop it in the chat because I don't know. I got to look that up. What is the opposite of a diva? A Denman? I don't know. Scratching my head. Now, I asked you guys earlier, what was the difference between a coward and a hero? Anybody come up with some suggestion? Anybody? What's the difference between a coward and a hero? My grandmother taught me this one. This is one of those ones that I was like, damn, really? A coward will do absolutely completely nothing, while a hero will do something. May not be perfect, may not even be right, but they will make the effort. And that is what life's about, is making that effort, pushing that envelope, just taking that one more step to move toward what you think you want in your life, which is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with that. And as long as you're healthy and as long as you can manage it, then there's nothing wrong with that. Greed, however, is when it's never enough. No matter how much you get and how much you receive, it's just never enough because something inside of you is a hole that can't be filled with the things of life. It can only be filled with the emotional, spiritual support that we all need, but you got to figure out how you want to let that in. Well, your moon's position will show you that. Okay? It will give you that insight, but you got to know where it is. So definitely, if you can, go online, type in your birthday, put astrology chart behind it, pull up one of the suggestions, and it'll tell you Mercury, moon, sun, the whole nine. It can't do your rising because it needs a birth time. If you have that, some of the free services do allow you to do that, but most of the time I don't think that they do. But anyway, as you find out where your moon is, it'll start making sense. It just goes like that makes sense. How you want things a certain way, how you need certain comforts. And like I'll give example of a new mother. New mothers are terrified of everything. They think they're going to screw something up. They're going to hurt something. They're just naturally nervous, as they should be. You have this thing growing in you, and then it comes out, and now you got to take care of it. And it ain't like something you can give back, okay? It's not like a toy or a thing. It's a living being that needs you 24/7 for the first at least 2 or 3 years of their lives. And then I'm not saying they can fend for themselves, but at least they're not pooping on themselves and trying to eat dirt. That's all I'm saying. So as a mom, you have to be on guard constantly to just keep your cub from going in the wrong direction. Well, once you know where your moon is, it kind of tells you your tolerance of what you will do. Now, my daughter has a water moon, so she's very emotional. So at the time she was born, and I knew exactly when she was going to be born, because she wouldn't come out under the Libra moon like I requested. Okay. No, no, no. She wanted to have a Scorpio moon. And I begged her, I told her, please don't do this. She should see me at the hospital. And they were like, who are you talking to? I'm not talking to my kid. I said, when the moon goes into Scorpio, she's going to come out. and you guys are gonna have to cut me. And they were like looking at me like I was crazy. I'm like, trust me, I know. Sure as tootin', guys, that's exactly what happened. Soon as the moon went into Scorpio, she went into duress, and the doctors had to cut me. And it wasn't me. I was following all instructions. That's just the energy she wanted to bring down. And I decided to honor that. So I just made her very emotionally comfortable. I made sure I was always in visual range. I was very involved in her school. I think that's why she did so well. And she's soaring in college as we speak, because I made that commitment to her to be available to her emotionally based on her moon being in Scorpio. And it was a wise choice. It's one of the best investments I ever made in my entire life, because this lady is a treasure. And I am just in awe that I got to be her mommy. Okay. But that's how I interpreted it. Okay. Now, my moon's also in Scorpio. So we got along fabulously because we had a deeper relationship. I mean, sometimes we just sit and don't even talk to each other and just kind of nod and grin and smile until we have to eat dinner or go to bed or whatever, just because she's doing things and I'm doing things. And that's how comfortable that moon is. But I made a conscious effort to reach out. Now, my mom has an Aquarius moon, a Sagittarius with Aquarius moon. It gets along, very detached, very, standoffish. I would just grab her all the time just for shits and giggles, just to hug up on her and kiss up on her and put sloppy kisses all over her. And she just go, oh, oh. Now I knew she loved it on some level, but her emotions were a little thicker. Like she just wanted to kind of give space. I wouldn't give her any, none. And now she tells me that that's one of the things she loved, is that she knew that I was always going to go out of my way to get a hug or a kiss or something, because I was an emotionally needy child, not in a bad way. I just wanted to make sure my mom and my dad knew that I loved them. And I did, very much. Still do, even though Father, well, he's in heaven with us now. The bottom line is, by knowing myself, it made me a better person. So I could be that better mom to my child. What do you want to do to improve yourself? Do you want to stay where you are, stay stuck in the same rut over and over and over again? Or are you willing to take a chance and to move into better? I'm asking, because this is where it starts. Manifesting with Ari Mac. You need to like, subscribe. You guys are Candles by Ari on TikTok, I know. But you need to subscribe. You need to like. You need to follow. Because I do have a lot of free information, but I also have a lot of information to give you in the one-on-one sessions. Now, I want you to save some dates that are coming up. We have a full moon this Monday in Aries, and that's going to be on October 6th, 2025. That moon is going to be about your shedding. That's going to, this Aries deals with self. So you want to spend some time just getting rid of stuff that you don't need anymore. Then we have a new moon in Libra, which is about partnerships, on October 21st, 2025. Now that's where you're going to start seeing where you need to gain strength or where your relationship may not be going the way you prefer. And I'm not talking just romance. I'm talking all across the board if you're dealing with nonsense. Now we also have the free report getting ready to drop. Please like and follow that and definitely check it out. We're going to do meditation, mindful guided meditation through Zoom, which I'm going to recommend you all come to, every single one of you, on October 12th, which is a Sunday at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. That's all Zoom. So you just sit and enjoy and give your mind a chance to release. And they're also going to have it on October 26th. So you got 2 times to actually make it to a meditation. And this, the sun is going to enter Scorpio on the 22nd of October. Okay, so just keep all that in mind. And we go live here on YouTube and TikTok at 2 o'clock every single Thursday. That is my standard for the last, 4 or 5 years, even when I was on iHeart. Same thing, always be consistent, always keep smiling. And guys, know yourself. Learn to love yourself. How's somebody else going to do it if you can't do it? How do we even tell somebody what your needs are when you're not being honest with yourself? I mean, just stand back and think about it for a second. What do you really need? Do you need more success? Do you need a new love? Do you need a new car? How about a place to live? These things are all possible, but you have to be receptive to how to receive them. Because the universe can't just whisper in our ear and say, hey, would you like the new car? Because our brains would explode, literally. Okay? So before I leave today, I want you to take some time out, look at your chart. If you have any questions, DM me, email me at countessbyari@gmail.com, or give me a call on my cell, 818-762-4256. I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. But look at the programs and the services that I'm offering, because all of these have helped, I want to say thousands of my clients achieve and maintain their goals. So it's not getting their goals, but it's also maintaining it. Look, the universe is going to have an effect on us. The planets are affecting you, regardless of whether or not you acknowledge them. That's a point of fact. Why not take full advantage by being prepared for all the things that are available to you? Yeah? All right. Well, I'm going to go because it's time for lunch. I want to thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for being patient. And remember, you are blessed. Like, follow, and subscribe. See you next week. Bye.